Hi, this is Mr. Fusco for Civics, 8th grade. We're going to go over the Constitution Convention. The Constitution Convention was held in Independence Hall in Philadelphia in 1787. And what they were trying to do is to revise the Articles of Confederation and make one new set of rules, new laws we could follow. There's a picture of Independence Hall in Philadelphia where it was the meeting was held. Who came? This is interesting because 55 delegates came from 12 states. 12 states that became 12 colonies that became 12 states. Rhode Island didn't come. They did not trust a more powerful government. Um, the men, these were called the founding fathers. They were well educated and experienced men. Ben Franklin was the oldest. He was 81. And the future presidents were George Washington and James Madison, who attended. Uh, who did not come? Thomas Jefferson was ambassador of France. He did not come. John Adams was ambassador to Great Britain, London. He did not come. And Patrick Henry was opposed to a stronger government, a stronger national government, so he did not attend. Um, There was an official record, but it wasn't kept by James Madison, as we're going to find out. 4 important decisions were going to be made here. Delegates are going to choose. They choose George Washington to leader of the convention. Each state would get 1 vote when deciding an issue. Issues would be decided by majority rule. That means the higher votes, higher number of votes wins. And the convention would be kept secret, but notebooks would be kept in a notebook by James Madison. What was the purpose of the convention? To form a new government, to revise the Articles of Confederation, which wasn't working, and to fix the problems the delegates were going to decide to do about the problem. And too many problems in the Articles to fix, so they're going to toss it out and started creating a stronger national government, and the plan was called for the Constitution Convention. So creating a new government becomes a lot of different aspects of it. You had a problem with larger states and smaller states. So Virginia plan, James Madison wanted 3 branches of government, which they all agreed to, but he wanted 2 houses of legislature, and he wanted at both houses a Senate and a House of Representatives based on population. So that larger states would have more representation in there. This favored large states, as we know. So this became a problem because the smaller states feel they would not get an equal shot in the say of government. So they had to do something about this. So the next plan is they come up with the New Jersey plan. So James Madison comes up with the Virginia plan. William Patterson comes up with the New Jersey plan. And he agreed that 3 branches of government would work, but he only wanted a 1 House legislator, and that would be equal representation per state. So small states and large states would have the same amount of people representing them. And for obvious reasons, this was better than the Virginia plan for smaller states. So now, when you have 2 different opinions, you have to create a new government. You have to come up with a compromise. So Roger Sherman from Connecticut comes up with it's called the Great Compromise. And he agrees that the 3 branches of government would work, and that's the judicial, executive, and legislative branch. And the 2 houses of legislative should work. We'll have a Senate, and we'll have a House of Representatives. So we'll have two parts. It'll be called a bicameral. It'll be a bicameral legislatures. One house will be based on population. One house will be equal representation. So one will be based on the House of Representatives will be based on population per state, and the Senate will be two per state. So that would be so larger states would have better better representation in the House of Representatives. The Senate, the Congress would have two per state, and that would have equal amounts of say per all the states. Neither side loved the idea, but they did not offer a balanced alternative, so they kind of agreed to it. So the next obstacle that comes around is how are we going to count the population? And the population of each state is going to be an issue because um, the states down south had a lot of slaves, and the slaves, the North didn't want to count slaves in their population, but the southern states wanted to. Um, the Northern said they didn't have any voting rights, so why should they have be counted as part of their population? So they have to come up with a compromise. And the newest compromise, it's kind of unusual, but we're going to call it the 3/5 compromise. Every five slaves will be counted as 3/5 of a person. So you take a fraction. So every 10 people, six would be counted into the population. So five would be three, six would be three. 10 would be six, and 100 would be 60. So 3/5 compromise that we're going to take all the slaves, add them up, and multiply it by 3/5, and we're going to get a solution of how many people have been counted towards the population that will determine the representation in each uh, in the House of Representatives. So that's the 3/5 compromise. Excuse me. So now we have to come up with trade, and the trade is how are we going to um, regulate trade. Southern states opposed federal government regulating trade um, because they felt that they would be charged more money and they would not get any benefit. So a compromise, they're not going to tax on any exports. Anything they send out of the country, they're not going to tax them. Slave trade, they're going to keep alone for 20 years, and they'll come back to that later on, and that will be discussed later on down the line. So 20 years, they're going to leave it alone. And then the next topic is we're going to choose a president, and the president is going to be decided. And they said, should the people choose a president? And most of the people said no. Should Congress choose a president? No. So the answer is they come up with electoral college. So they'll take the popular vote from each state, and electors representing each state would choose the president. So, and electors would be based on how many electoral college votes that state has, and the state electoral college votes would be the number of representation they have in Congress. So it'd be based on population. So if the House of Reps in Massachusetts, if it had 9 reps in there, they'd get 9 electoral college votes. So larger states would have more electoral college votes, and smaller states wouldn't. And the popular vote would go to, the winner of the popular vote would get the electoral college votes for that state. And that's how they choose the president. So the president is actually not chosen by, it's chosen by the popular vote in terms of how many electoral college vote. But overall, a president can win the popular vote and not win the election, which happened one time when Al Gore ran against Bush, and he won the popular vote, but Bush won electoral college votes, and that's what happens sometimes. So it's a safeguard they put in, so they wanted to make sure the right person would be chosen for the presidency. And that's what happens today. Electoral college is not a college, it's not a party school, so we put that in as a fun fact. Um, and the final details, a writing committee headed by Governor Morris puts the Constitution in words, and would it take 9 out of 13 states to ratify it? And Rhode Island, the problems comes in some delegates still oppose the federal system of government, federalism. So they came up with some people, some of the writers came up with the Federalist Papers and the Anti-Federalist Papers, and this is the final stages of the conflict. And the Federalist Papers uh, were written to persuade people uh, to believe that the strong central government was the way to go, and that would protect individual rights. James Madison, John Jay, and Alexander Hamilton wrote a series of these essays called the Federalist Papers that believed in a strong central government. And the purpose of these essays was to attempt to persuade American support in this Constitution, and that's called federalism. And the Anti-Federalists, they opposed a strong national government. Uh, they feared it would become more like Great Britain, which wouldn't work. They believed in the power of state government, and mainly concerned with what the protection of the citizens' rights. So the compromise um, they come up with the Constitution, but they include the Bill of Rights. And the first 10 amendments of the Constitution is called the Bill of Rights, and that's freedom of the press, freedom of religion, freedom of search and seizure, freedom to bear arms. New Hampshire comes the 9 states to ratify the Constitution, and Rhode Island was the last state to ratify it. 13 independent states are now truly the United States of America. So 13 independent states become the United States of America. And thank you.